going on, everyone? I want to welcome you back, and I want you to help me welcome the newest addition to my shop, a K40 CO2 laser. A company by the name of Monport Laser sent me this laser and wanted me to do a video review on it. These CO2 lasers are much different than the diode laser that I'm used to using. These things need chilled water running through them, so that way you can keep the laser tube cool. There's different safety features that this requires and things that you can mod and add on that a diode laser doesn't need or you don't have to do with that. And setting the correct bed height seems to be the largest, issue with these types of lasers, because you have to have your focal distance from your lens to your workpiece exactly right. They say you have to have it within a millimeter, which is pretty darn exact. I'm going to walk you through this laser as it came stock to me, and then I will talk real quick about what I want to do to this laser, kind of bring it up to the next level, and I will run my first cut and we will see how that works out. All right, this is the K40, pretty much right out of the box. The best thing about this particular laser from Monport is this safety interlock right here. I noticed that on a lot of forums, people are getting these lasers without this, and this is basically just a safety switch that if your lid is not down, it will not allow you to run the laser. That's a great feature. These CO2 lasers are very powerful. It'll burn your skin. It'll blind you in an instant, so that is a great feature to have. I'm really happy to have that. These come with what they call a clamping bed. I don't know why it's called a clamping bed. I don't really see what you could possibly clamp onto this thing, but anyway, this is the bed that needs to be removed and adjusted somehow, so I have a decent idea of what I want to do. And also that vent shroud there, that actually protrudes into the cutting area, as you can see there, by, I don't know, probably an inch and a half. So I'm just going to take that right out. That way I can improve my cutting area to probably 9, maybe 9.5 in this direction. So that'll help give me a little bit larger of a cutting area. This particular machine comes with a pretty good exhaust vent in the back. I'm going to run that and see how that ends up working out. If I don't like that, that's going to be on my list for one of my mods. With these CO2 lasers, you do need to run some cooling water through the laser tube. It comes with a small aquarium pump, and you have to use distilled water. So you can just get a bucket that's got a nice tight lid on there. You can see I've got some dust already on the top of here, but you want to make sure this is as airtight as possible. You want to keep that distilled water as clean as possible. It comes with the tubes. You got your inlet and your outlet, and then you just have your power cord there. I just put this in a small bucket on my stand, and then I used a bungee cord just to kind of hold it in place. But that way, if I want to move this thing around, I can. It depends where I want to cut, but I like the spot I have right here for this thing. I ran this vent pipe already outside. I installed a dryer vent cap on the other side, and now I have this ducted to the outside. So when I run everything, all my fumes, my smoke will go outside the back of the garage into the open air, and that way I won't choke myself out in here. Okay, I have a short list of a couple of mods I want to do to this thing pretty much before I jump into it. First thing, I want to get rid of this vent shroud. Get that out of there so I can increase my overall area inside this K40. Second thing I want to do, I want to get rid of this bed. I want to get me a lab jack, a scissor jack. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can fully adjust the height of this bed. I want to see how that works out. I know online and in all the forums, there's all kinds of adjustable beds, and you can get pretty in depth with that. So I want to see if the scissor jack works for me. Hopefully it does. Pretty cheap alternative instead of jumping into a fully either motorized or adjustable bed. So we'll see how that goes. The third mod I want to do to this thing is I want to add an inline flow indicator for my distilled water. That way I can fire on the laser and then I will see that flow indicator spinning. That way I will know I've always got water running through this. Apparently it's very bad for these CO2 tubes to run dry. I guess they'll basically crack almost immediately. So you need something that will show you that you always have water flowing through the system. The fourth mod I want to do, I want to add an inline exhaust fan to the back of this thing and get rid of the stock one. That way I can just move more cubic feet per minute, and I will ensure that whatever smoke and fumes that are generated inside this get vented outside into the air where it's harmless. I removed that vent. It was very easy to do. Just a couple of bolts you have to access from the back. But I've got a piece in there right now. I've already downloaded K40 Whisperer, and I've gone through the setup process of that. So I'm going to run my first file. Pretty excited. This board right here is just under 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to run a small file here, and let's see how it does. I went with the Old English D, the logo of my favorite baseball team, and it turned out pretty well. The cuts are pretty good there. There is some burning. I know that will be eliminated once I get some air assist. This thing is powerful. I am pretty excited to get into this thing, mess with this bed, and see if I can get this thing cutting a little bit cleaner and a little bit faster. My first thoughts on this laser after using it just for a little bit is wow. I did not think this thing was going to be ready to go straight out of the box, but it is. All the mirrors were already pre-aligned at the factory, and they even put some hot glue on them to make sure during shipping they weren't jostled around and moved. So that's awesome. Once you plug this thing in, you are ready to go. It's got the safety interlock to make sure you can't fire the tube when this door is open, and that's an incredible safety feature. I'm really glad to have that. It's got the inline fan. It's got the water circulation pump, so you can run your distilled water. It's got everything. So I will leave a link down in the description to the Monport website and the Monport link to this exact CO2 laser. But if you guys are looking to get into it, don't wait any longer. Get one of these. And I'm telling you, if you get this one from Monport, it's ready to go. Literally plug it in, run your program, and you're cutting.